Welcome back to the channel, basketball enthusiasts, tactical analysts, and passionate fans tuning in from every single corner of the globe. A very special and incredibly warm welcome goes out to the millions of dedicated supporters hailing from the Philippines and all across the Asian diaspora, who track every single dribble, every single block, and every single milestone of the nation's greatest basketball hope. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to bring you a monumental, exhaustive, and meticulously detailed breakdown of a basketball event that has completely sent shockwaves throughout the international hoops community. We are tackling a headline that has been generating an unbelievable amount of buzz, debate, and absolute elation. The title of our comprehensive deep dive today is Sotto Hurts the Chiba Jets, Plays Highlights, alongside the deeply fascinating, somewhat perplexing, and highly debated underlying narrative that Kai is still kept under the hood, even though he operates under the highly coveted imported player status. We are going to unpack every single solitary layer of this bold statement. We will dissect every nuanced movement of his performance, and we will analyze the broader, overarching implications for his rapidly evolving career, the intensely competitive landscape of the Japan B-League, and the global basketball ecosystem as a whole. When we say that a player hurts the Chiba Jets, we are not speaking in mere hyperbole. We are not utilizing clickbait, and we are not exaggerating for the sake of entertainment. We are speaking to a profound, fundamental disruption of one of the most formidable, well-oiled, and ruthlessly efficient basketball machineries in the entire Eastern Hemisphere. To truly understand the gravity, the sheer magnitude of what Kai Sotto accomplished in these highlights, we first have to establish the context of exactly who and what the Chiba Jets are. The Chiba Jets are not just another team on the schedule. They are an absolute juggernaut. They represent the gold standard, the ultimate measuring stick, and the highest echelon of professional basketball excellence in Japan. For years, this organization has built a legacy predicated on lightning-fast execution, suffocating perimeter defense, and a relentless punishing pace that simply breaks the will of opposing teams. Led by the legendary, lightning-quick floor general Yuki Togashi, the Jets operate with a level of precision that is often compared to a symphony orchestra. They do not just beat you, they dismantle you. They expose your weaknesses, they exploit your lack of depth, and they run you out of the gym. Coming into their arena, or facing them on any neutral court, is a daunting, intimidating prospect for any player, let alone a young big man still carving out his definitive identity in the professional ranks. Therefore, when a player steps onto the hardwood and actively, visibly, and statistically hurts the Chiba Jets, it forces the entire basketball world to stop, sit up, and take immediate notice. Kai Sotto did not just play against the Chiba Jets, he imposed his sheer physical will upon them. He disrupted their offensive rhythm, he altered their shot trajectories in the paint, and he provided an offensive focal point that their highly touted defensive schemes simply could not solve. But the second half of our headline today is equally as captivating, if not more intensely debated than the performance itself. The phrase, Kai is still under the hood even though it is imported, perfectly encapsulates the beautifully complex, incredibly frustrating, and ultimately triumphant reality of Kai Sotto's current professional situation. Let us break down this brilliant automotive metaphor. When you have a high-performance sports car, a marvel of modern engineering equipped with a V12 engine capable of shattering speed records, the natural inclination is to take it out onto the open highway and push it to its absolute limits. You want to see what the machine can truly do. You want to unleash its full, unbridled potential. Yet, the narrative surrounding Kai Sotto throughout various stops in his professional journey, particularly in the B-League, is that he is a luxury sports car being kept under the hood, or parked in the garage. He is being driven at 30 miles per hour in a school zone when he was built for the Autobahn. Kai Sotto occupies a very unique, highly specialized roster spot as an Asian quota import player. In the fiercely competitive environment of the Japan B-League, import players are traditionally expected to be the undeniable alpha dogs. They are the heavy lifters. They are the players who are brought in, often with significant financial investment, to play 35-plus minutes a night, to take the most crucial shots in the fourth quarter, and to completely dominate the statistical categories. An import is usually the franchise centerpiece around whom the local talent revolves. However, the Asian quota system introduces a fascinating wrinkle. Players from the Philippines, South Korea, Taiwan, and other Asian nations are brought in to elevate the overall talent pool, but they often find themselves in a delicate tug-of-war regarding playing time, developmental patience, and coaching trust. Despite being an import, despite standing at an astonishing 7 feet and 3 inches tall, and despite possessing an exceptionally rare combination of perimeter shooting touch, high basketball intelligence, and elite shot-blocking timing, Kai Sotto has frequently had to battle for consistent, heavy minutes. He has experienced stretches where his court time fluctuates wildly, where a single missed rotation or a minor defensive lapse results in an immediate trip back to the substitute bench. He has been subjected to a highly restrictive, incredibly tight leash that would frustrate even the most seasoned veteran. He is, by all definitions, an imported talent, a specialized asset brought in to provide a distinct competitive advantage. Yet, the coaching strategies, the roster rotations, and the overall developmental approach have often kept his usage rate shockingly low. He has been kept strictly under the hood. This is what makes the highlights against the Chiba Jets so breathtakingly significant. It is a spectacular rebellion against the restrictions placed upon him. It is a booming, resonant statement delivered not through complaints or social media posts, but through the undeniable, irrefutable language of absolute dominance on the basketball court. In the limited time he was unleashed, in those precious minutes where the hood was finally popped open and the engine was allowed to roar, Kai Sotto fundamentally changed the geometry of the game. He showed the Chiba Jets, he showed his coaching staff, and he showed the millions watching around the world precisely what happens when you let the big man eat. This introduction serves merely as the opening tip-off for our discussion today. The highlights we are analyzing represent a masterclass in efficiency, a clinic in utilizing generational size, and a profound psychological triumph over a system that often demands conformity. We are looking at a player who is operating with an extraordinary level of per-minute productivity, maximizing every single second he spends between those four lines. In the upcoming deep dive, we are going completely under the microscope. We will break down his pick-and-roll coverage against the lightning-fast guards of Chiba. We will analyze his low-post positioning, his astonishingly soft touch around the rim, and the sheer vertical deterrence he provides as the ultimate last line of defense. We will explore the historical context of Filipino players thriving in the Japanese circuit, the massive expectations placed squarely upon his young shoulders by an entire basketball-crazed nation, and what this specific, dominant performance against a championship-caliber team means for his ultimate, undeniable goal of reaching the National Basketball Association. So, grab a notepad, settle in, and prepare for an incredibly extensive, granular, and passionate exploration of the game. Let us transition now into the deep dive analysis of how Kai Sotto dismantled the Chiba Jets while still fighting against the constraints of being kept under the hood. As we transition into the core analytical body of our discussion, it is absolutely imperative that we dissect the specific basketball mechanics, the tactical chess match, and the sheer athletic brilliance that Kai Sotto displayed in this phenomenal highlight package against the Chiba Jets. This was not a performance built on empty statistics or garbage time accumulation. This was highly impactful, highly pressurized, needle-moving basketball executed against the absolute cream of the crop in the Japanese B-League. Let us begin by analyzing the offensive repertoire that Sotto unspooled, which systematically dismantled the Chiba defensive frontcourt. When you possess a player who stands 7 feet and 3 inches tall, the conventional, somewhat antiquated basketball philosophy dictates that you simply park him on the low block, throw the ball into the post, and let him utilize his massive size advantage to back down smaller defenders. However, what makes Kai Sotto such a tantalizing prospect, and what was so vividly on display in these highlights, is his incredible modern versatility. Sotto is not a slow, plodding, traditional big man anchored in mud. He is a highly mobile, fluid athlete who operates with a level of grace and coordination that is profoundly rare for a human being of his staggering dimensions. Against the Chiba Jets, we saw him utilized as a devastating screener in the pick-and-roll action. Notice how Sotto sets his screens. He does not just brush past the defender. He makes solid, legal, bone-jarring contact that completely dislodges the primary defender, forcing the Chiba big men into incredibly uncomfortable drop coverages or delayed hedges. But the true magic happens after the screen is set. Sotto's ability to dive to the rim with sudden, explosive speed makes him an immediate, terrifying lob threat. The Chiba defense was repeatedly forced into an impossible dilemma. Do you step up to stop the ball handler, thereby leaving a 7'3" behemoth completely unguarded rolling to the basket, or do you stay attached to Sotto, conceding an open mid-range jump shot to the guard? When the ball was delivered to him on the roll, Sotto displayed incredibly soft, secure hands. He caught passes in heavy traffic, absorbed the inevitable physical contact from the scrambling Chiba forwards, and finished with a delicate touch off the glass. His body control in the air, his ability to adjust his release point to avoid the swiping hands of the defense, is a testament to the countless hours of rigorous, specialized training he underwent at facilities like the Skill Factory in the United States and his time honing his craft in the Australian National Basketball League. Furthermore, we must address the sheer gravity he commands. In the modern game of basketball, gravity is perhaps the most valuable intangible asset a player can possess. Gravity refers to the defensive attention a player naturally attracts simply by existing in a certain space on the floor. When Kai Sotto rolls to the rim, he pulls the weak side defenders entirely out of their designated positions. He collapses the defense like a black hole. In the highlights, we repeatedly witnessed Chiba players overhelping, completely abandoning their assignments on the perimeter out of sheer panic to prevent a monstrous Sotto dunk. This absolute panic created wide-open, uncontested three-point opportunities for his teammates. Even when he did not physically touch the basketball, Sotto's presence, his gravity, was directly responsible for generating high-quality offensive possessions. He was the vital, unseen engine driving the offensive efficiency. But the offensive brilliance does not stop at his rolling ability. The highlights also showcased his developing perimeter game, which is the ultimate key that will unlock his highest ceiling. The Chiba Jets are known for their aggressive, swarming defense. They try to speed you up and force uncomfortable decisions. However, when Sotto caught the ball at the high post or at the top of the three-point arc, he demonstrated a remarkable poise and patience that belies his young age. He kept the ball high, away from the digging, pesky guards. He surveyed the floor with the vision of a seasoned point forward. And when the Chiba defense dared to sag off him, disrespecting his shooting range, Sotto made them pay the ultimate price. His shooting mechanics are incredibly fluid, boasting a high, unblockable release point and a smooth follow-through. When a 7'3" player can confidently step out and knock down a perimeter jump shot, it completely shatters the opposing team's defensive game plan. It pulls the opposing center out of the paint, opening up driving lanes for everyone else. Sotto proved to the Chiba Jets that he is not a one-dimensional threat. He is a multi-layered offensive weapon who can punish you from virtually anywhere on the hardwood. Now, let us pivot to the defensive side of the floor, which is arguably where Kai Sotto's impact is the most immediate, the most profound, and the most demoralizing for the opposition. The Chiba Jets built their offensive identity around penetrating the paint, utilizing blinding speed, and finishing at the rim or kicking out for open threes. Kai Sotto single-handedly built a wall around the basket. His rim protection in these highlights was nothing short of spectacular. It is not just about his extraordinary height. It is about his elite timing, his exceptional defensive instincts, and his rapidly improving understanding of verticality. In the Japan B-League, where the speed of the game is incredibly fast and the guards are exceptionally crafty, shot blocking is a highly complex art form. If you simply jump at every pump fake, you will be in foul trouble within the first 5 minutes of the opening quarter. What we saw from Kai Sotto against Chiba was an incredibly disciplined, intelligent approach to rim deterrence. He utilized his immense 9'4" standing reach to alter shots without unnecessarily leaving his feet. He stayed incredibly vertical, absorbing the chest-to-chest contact from driving players without bringing his arms down, thereby avoiding the referee's whistle. The highlights showed multiple sequences where Chiba guards, players who typically finish with ease in the paint, drove into the lane, saw the looming, mountainous presence of Sotto, and completely short-circuited. They altered their natural shooting mechanics. They threw up wild, unbalanced floaters, or they simply panicked and threw erratic passes out of bounds. This is the unquantifiable psychological impact of an elite rim protector. You do not just block the shots you touch. You heavily influence and deter the shots you do not even contest. Sotto instilled a deep-seated hesitation in the minds of the Chiba offensive players. Moreover, his pick-and-roll defense showed massive strides of improvement. Historically, the biggest weakness for towering centers is their lateral quickness when forced to switch onto smaller, faster guards on the perimeter. The Chiba Jets specifically tried to hunt Sotto in these switching situations, attempting to drag him out to the three-point line and attack him off the dribble. However, Sotto demonstrated exceptional footwork, dropping his hips, sliding his feet, and utilizing his massive wingspan to cut off driving angles. He successfully contained the perimeter threats long enough for his teammates to recover, successfully neutralizing one of Chiba's most potent offensive strategies. This brings us back to the intensely compelling narrative of our title. Kai is still under the hood even though it is imported. Having broken down this phenomenal, game-altering impact on both ends of the floor, it becomes increasingly baffling, incredibly frustrating, and highly complex to understand why a player capable of this level of absolute destruction is subjected to limited minutes and a restrictive role. To understand this, we must delve into the deeply ingrained coaching philosophies of international basketball, specifically within the Japanese system, and the heavy burden placed upon young, developing big men. In many traditional coaching systems, trust is a commodity that must be painstakingly earned over an agonizingly long period, regardless of pure, raw talent. Coaches often prioritize veteran stability, strict adherence to complex, rigid systemic execution, and absolute mistake-free basketball over the spectacular, yet sometimes erratic brilliance of youth. For a player like Kai Sotto, every single mistake on the floor is heavily magnified. If a veteran guard throws a bad pass, it is often quickly forgiven as a momentary lapse in judgment. But if a young, towering center misses a defensive rotation, gets beat on a backdoor cut, or commits a silly foul trying to block a shot, the consequence is frequently an immediate, unforgiving substitution. He is yanked from the game. He is put right back under the hood. This creates an incredibly high-pressure, incredibly demanding psychological environment for Sotto. He knows, acutely, that he does not possess the luxury of a long leash. He knows that he must be spectacularly productive in the highly limited windows of opportunity he is provided. This is what makes his performance against the Chiba Jets so unbelievably impressive. He did not let the anxiety of his minute restrictions negatively affect his play. He did not force bad shots, he did not chase statistics at the detriment of the team concept, and he did not play with a fear of making mistakes. Instead, he entered the game like a tightly coiled spring, unleashing an unbelievable burst of concentrated, high-efficiency energy. He maximized every single possession. He rebounded with absolute ferocity, he ran the floor with the desperate urgency of a guard, and he executed his assignments with clinical precision. He is proving, game by game, highlight by highlight, that he is outgrowing the restrictions placed upon him. He is demanding, through his undeniable on-court production, that the coaching staff keep him on the floor. When you are an imported player, especially under the highly scrutinized Asian quota system, you carry the heavy weight of an entire organization's investment. The management expects immediate, tangible returns. The fans expect spectacular, highlight reel plays. The local players expect you to elevate their game. Sotto is navigating this complex web of massive expectations while simultaneously battling for the fundamental opportunity to simply play the game he loves. We must also deeply consider the monumental, overarching national narrative that accompanies every single step Kai Sotto takes on a basketball court. He is not just representing himself. He is not just representing his professional club in Japan. He is carrying the hopes, the passionate dreams, and the fervent aspirations of the entire Republic of the Philippines. In a nation where basketball is treated with a level of reverence akin to religion, Kai Sotto is viewed as the ultimate, shining beacon of hope. He is the player destined to firmly put Philippine basketball on the global map, to break down the towering barriers, and to ultimately reach the promised land of the National Basketball Association. Every single time he steps onto the court, millions of heavily invested eyes are watching, analyzing, and critiquing his every move. This level of intense, suffocating national scrutiny can easily crush a lesser individual. It can breed paralyzing anxiety and a fear of failure. Yet, Sotto seems to thrive in this intensely pressurized crucible. He draws immense strength from the unwavering, fiercely loyal support of his countrymen. When he throws down a monstrous dunk against the Chiba Jets, the reverberations are felt all the way from the bustling streets of Manila to the furthest provinces of the Philippine archipelago. He is a source of immense national pride, a towering symbol that Filipinos can absolutely compete and utterly dominate against the very best talent the world has to offer. This deep dive into his highlights against the Chiba Jets is not just a celebration of a single great game. It is a highly analytical documentation of his ongoing, rapid evolution. We are witnessing the real-time maturation of a truly generational talent. The footwork is getting crisper. The jump shot is getting more consistent. The defensive timing is becoming elite. The physical frame is continuing to fill out, absorbing the heavy, bruising contact of professional basketball with increasing ease. He is learning how to utilize his immense physical gifts, combining his sheer size with an incredibly high basketball IQ. The narrative that he is kept under the hood is slowly but surely being forcibly dismantled by Sotto himself. He is violently tearing the hood off the car. He is forcing the coaching staff to recognize that leaving him on the bench is a far greater detriment to the team's success than any minor rookie mistake he might make on the floor. The Chiba Jets, a team built on defensive excellence and tactical superiority, had absolutely no answer for him. He was too big, too skilled, and too fiercely determined. As we look toward the future, the implications of these types of dominant performances are massive. Not only do they solidify his standing as a premier, unstoppable force in the highly competitive Japan B-League, but they also serve as incredibly powerful, undeniable resume builders for international scouts and NBA front offices. In today's highly globalized basketball landscape, NBA teams are constantly scouring the international leagues for the next great unicorn, the next towering player who possesses guard-like skills. Kai Sotto fits this modern archetype perfectly. He is answering the critics, he is silencing the doubters, and he is methodically, systematically proving that his ceiling is completely limitless. The journey has been incredibly arduous. From the massive early hype in the Philippines, to the highly publicized challenges in the United States, to his developmental stint in Australia, and now to his absolute emergence in Japan, Kai Sotto has faced more intense scrutiny, pressure, and adversity than most players will ever experience in a lifetime. Yet, he remains incredibly focused, deeply humble, and relentlessly dedicated to his craft. The performance against the Chiba Jets is a glaring, neon signpost indicating that the best is still very much yet to come. The imported engine is fully revved up, the tires are gripping the asphalt, and the sports car is finally preparing to hit maximum, unstoppable velocity. As we begin to bring this incredibly extensive, meticulously detailed, and highly passionate analysis to a close, we must take a collective step back to truly appreciate the magnificent, unfolding tapestry of Kai Sotto's professional basketball journey. The headline we dissected today, Kai Sotto hurts the Chiba Jets, plays highlights, and the profound, underlying reality that he is still kept under the hood despite being an imported superstar, is so much more than a mere collection of words or a fleeting moment in a long, grueling season. It is a definitive, undeniable, and resounding statement of fact. It is a powerful testament to the sheer, unadulterated willpower, the unrelenting work ethic, and the immense, awe-inspiring talent of a young man who carries the fervent basketball dreams of over 100 million people squarely upon his broad shoulders. What we witnessed in those phenomenal highlights against a championship-caliber organization like the Chiba Jets was not a lucky performance. It was not a statistical anomaly. It was the beautiful, inevitable culmination of years of quiet, grueling preparation, immense sacrifice, and an unbreakable belief in his own limitless potential. Kai Sotto stepped onto the hardwood against one of the most feared, well-coached, and physically imposing teams in the entire Asian region, and he absolutely imposed his will. He proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that his highly unique combination of staggering 7'3" size, silky smooth perimeter touch, and elite, instinctive rim protection is a riddle that even the greatest defensive minds in the league struggle to solve. He didn't just participate in the game, he fundamentally dictated its entirely flow, altering the opposing team's entire game plan simply through his commanding, gravitational presence on the floor. Yet, the deeply fascinating, enduring reality remains. He continues to fight against the artificial restrictions of his role. He is still battling for the fundamental trust, the expansive minutes, and the ultimate freedom that his undeniable talent so clearly warrants. The metaphor of the high-performance sports car being kept under the hood is perfectly apt, but what Sotto is proving, day in and day out, is that an engine of that magnitude simply cannot be contained indefinitely. The sheer horsepower of his ability is violently rattling the chassis of the conservative coaching philosophies that seek to hold him back. With every monstrous slam dunk, with every towering, demoralizing blocked shot, and with every silky smooth, perfectly executed perimeter jumper, he is forcibly prying that hood open. He is demanding, through the sheer force of his irrefutable, undeniable production, that he be unleashed to his absolute, terrifying fullest potential. To the incredible, fiercely loyal, and unbelievably passionate fans watching from the Philippines, from the Middle East, from North America, and from every single corner of the global basketball community, this is your moment to stand up and celebrate. The journey of Kai Sotto is a profound narrative of ultimate resilience. It is a story of a young athlete continuously overcoming massive obstacles, shutting out the deafening noise of the critics, and focusing entirely on the daily, grueling grind of self-improvement. The performance against the Chiba Jets is not the final, concluding chapter. It is merely a glorious, spectacular preview of the legendary greatness that is actively being forged. He is not just surviving in the professional ranks. He is on the precipice of absolute, total domination. We want to profoundly thank every single one of you for joining us on this massive, deep dive exploration. Your continuous engagement, your passionate debates in the comments, and your unwavering support are what make this community so incredibly special and vibrant. If you found this exhaustive analysis insightful, If it helped you understand the beautiful, complex nuances of Kai Sotto's game and the fascinating dynamics of international basketball, please make sure to emphatically hit that like button. It truly helps push this content to a wider audience. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you never, ever miss out on our future breakdowns. Because as Kai continues his relentless, unstoppable ascent toward basketball immortality, you can be absolutely certain that we will be right here, breaking down every single step, every single highlight, and every single milestone along the way. Stay passionate about the game, keep supporting the absolute phenomenal rise of Kai Sotto, and until the next time we meet to talk hoops, take care, stay safe, and keep watching the incredible evolution of the pride of the Philippines.